Welcome. This is Vernita of mysticalrecall.com. And today I want to talk about tapping into your out of body power. All right. When you have out of body experiences that happen spontaneously, organically, naturally, unexpectedly, those experiences are like your higher self tapping you on the shoulder. Hey, wake up. This is who you really are. You are a multidimensional being that is vibrating at various frequencies. And you exist in multiple realities and multiple timelines and multiple dimensions. Wake up to that so that you can use that power inside of this third dimensional reality and navigate it with ease. All the issues that come up in your life, everything that you experience in your life, if you only tapped into your power, you would overcome those things and navigate through them like water with just flowing through it easily if you just tapped into that power. That power is the same power that allows for you to manifest things. It's the same power that allows for you to know what's going to happen before it happens. It is the same power that allows for you to know who you are in these other realities and how those other realities and the person or the being that you are in those other realities affect this one. You can tap into that power and take some of the energy that's coming in from those other versions of yourself and use that energy within this reality to assist you in your life. But see, what do? We get afraid. It starts to happen. You have that sleep paralysis feeling. You get stuck, can't move, or you feel the vibrations. You don't know what is going on, and you get fearful. And then you try to stop it, meaning you try to stop these things from happening. Now, that was back in the day. That was the beginning stages, right? That's how it was. You try to run away from it, you don't even know what it is. And then it's like hoping that it goes away, but it doesn't. It continues to happen. It may not happen back to back to back, but it continues to happen. So you try to do some research and find out, well, what in the world is going on with me, right? So time passes and everything, and that brings you to now. Now what you do is you embrace it while at the same time trying to figure out how you can have more of him because you realize that, oh, okay, well, these are kind of fun. And it is, very interesting to know about these other aspects of myself. So then you read books, take courses, you do everything that you can, listen to people on YouTube, like you're listening to me now. You do everything that you can to try to find out what you can do to have more of these OBEs, to activate them. And when you want to have them, willfully do them, right? So you're past the stage of fear. You've got the confidence and now you want to explore more. But the thing was, remember, when it first was happening, you weren't even cultivating all of that. You weren't nurturing yourself. So, okay, now you want it to happen and you're relying on external things or things that take a while in order for the activation to occur instead of naturally flowing. The reason why I want to talk about natural flow, and actually in many of my videos, I talk about the natural flow of it and just allowing for yourself to be, is because when you tap into your essence, which is aligning with your galactic self or your higher self, when you do that, it assists with so many other aspects of your life. It's not about just the OBEs. Your out of body power is your default galactic self power. You understand? It is the aspect of you that you truly are that integrated itself with the physical body that you see when you look in the mirror that's navigating this reality. But once you get back in alignment with that galactic aspect of yourself, your true self, when you get in alignment with that, then things in your life will start to flow in a way that you don't even know. Is just very synchronistic. It's like, well, how did that happen? It just flows? It just naturally flows. However, when you are using external means, whether it's psychedelics or sound frequencies or doing all of these things to try to activate an OBE, you will forever be doing all of these things. So what I mean by that is I'm going to use a physical therapist as an example. If something happens to your body, your physical body, and it's out of alignment, an accident, whatever, you're going to need some physical therapy. The physical therapy that you take is temporary. It's to get you back into alignment. Once you're in alignment, you don't need the physical therapist anymore, you see? But the physical therapist is doing things to assist you to get back into alignment so that you can go on about your business and not need them. You don't need them as the crutch. You don't need their help anymore. They're trying to get you back to your default energy and you can keep moving and you're all good. Whereas if you continue for your OBEs, to rely on external things, or you try so hard, I'm gonna have an OBE tonight. All these things that you're doing to force it to happen, then you're always going to have to rely on that because those things were not created for you to be back into alignment, your default self. For me, what I do with my clients is all about getting back into alignment. Alignment with your higher self, alignment with your galactic self, the true you. Because I know that when that happens, you don't need the crutches anymore. You don't need the training wheels. You don't need the cane. You now tap into your essence, tap into your power, and your higher self starts to guide you. When your higher self guides you, everything that you want to happen will start to flow naturally. You already put it out there mentally that you want to have an OBE. You've already put it out there mentally why. So instead of trying, it's going to already happen. All you got to do is relax and it's going to happen, but you got to get back into alignment. So today I was motivated to bring this up because, and this was like, again, this is one of those videos where it wasn't planned. It is March 2nd. It's Sunday, March 2nd. And I'm bringing this up because the last couple of weeks, there have been people that have contacted me. I've gotten texts and calls related to the chaos that's happening right now, especially in the U.S. When it comes to certain individuals. And I don't need to name names. You already know what I'm talking about. And I live in the D.C. area. I'm born and raised here. And so we are very used to the federal government being the place where it's not one of those things where you have to worry about your job. Job security. I'm sitting here thinking about what's the phrase, job security, right? So with all the chaos that's happened within this 21st century, especially within the last 5 years, people who work for the federal government, it never was a thing where you'd have to worry about losing your job or anything like that. Both my parents work for the government. I didn't work for the federal government, but I'm surrounded by people who did and do now. And either they work directly for the federal government or they are contracted with the government. It's a trip. The last few years, you hear people promoting let me show you how to contract with the government, all these other things. Where I'm from is normal. It's like that's the thing. It's always been the thing for decades, contracting with the government. Guaranteed money. It may take a minute before you get the money initially, but it's guaranteed. Everything is safe. You're going to make your money, whatever. So like they say, we're in unprecedented times. You didn't think that someone worked for the federal government would lose their job and it would be happening so fast and so many people, thousands of people. And so recently it's hit home because I know people who have been laid off and I know people who are afraid of being laid off and people with government contracts. Those contracts are gone. That's their income. That's the money. That's the food for their family. The money that gets the food for the family and to maintain the lifestyles that they've had. And this is a very expensive area. So you can imagine someone who is making a lot of money. Now it's like, well, what are they going to do in an area that is very pricey, So it motivated me or inspired me to create this episode, especially for those of you who have OBEs organically and naturally. I want you to understand something. In general, let me say this. We're in a different era of time. And I'm not just saying that just to be saying that. We literally are. Indigenous people throughout the years, our ancestors, for hundreds, thousands of years, had already predicted this time coming because it's the closing of many cycles, okay? Within the last approximately 30 or so years, there's several cycles that have closed. And just within the last 15 years, several cycles have closed, okay? Everyone heard about 2012, but they didn't really know what was happening with 2012. I'm not going to get into deep with that, but there were people talking about, oh, it's the end times and all. They didn't understand. And then when 2012 came and nothing happened, at least that's what people think. They're like, oh, nothing happened. Here we go again and all this. But something did happen. There was a cycle that ended. And also 2013 was a year of many transitionings. And what I mean by that is quote unquote death. There were a lot of people that had passed on in 2013 back to back to back to back. And it's been like that ever since. Whereas prior to that, you may hear about someone that passed a couple years ago or whatever. And, it's not even, but it was back to back to back to back to back. And it's still like that. People are leaving outside of this particular reality because of the frequency and the shifting of the times that are happening. Anytime there's a cycle that closes and a new one opens, there's a transition point. We've had that transition for decades now. It came to a head within the last 13 years or so. All right. But here's the thing. We had an opportunity to decide on, is the transition from this old time to the new time going to be smooth and free flowing? Or is it going to be a situation where it's going to be yanked and it's going to be aggressive and it's going to be rough like a storm? We had the opportunity to come together as a people on this planet and respect each other regardless of skin color, race, nationality, gender, or non-gender, or whatever sexuality, whatever. We had the opportunity to respect each other and love each other and be about togetherness and community. But we didn't choose that road. We chose the road of division, further division than we already had. It's not one individual that caused it. It's so important for people to understand that whoever you see that you're blaming for what's going on right now, they are the puppets. They are not the puppet masters. They are the puppets. So who are the puppet masters? They hide in the shadows. You don't see them. You don't see the ones who are orchestrating the game. You don't see that. Stop focusing on the puppets, okay? It's not the puppets. And now I even tell people, don't even focus on the puppet master or who that is. It doesn't matter. What matters is the door of opportunity that's open. A lot of people don't see that door. So let me give you an analogy real quick. There's a bull in a china shop. That china that's all, on the shelves and everything, nice, beautiful china, is now falling over and cracking and breaking. All the china is falling onto the floor. And the bull is just making all this ruckus, vibrating everything, and it's just a hot mess. But guess what else happened? Because of the vibrations that the bull is causing, that chaos, there's a trap door right back there in the back. No one knew about it that opened. That's the door of opportunity. But instead of people paying attention to the door of opportunity, they're looking at the bull, making all the mess and all the china and complaining about the china and the bull and all this. But what about that door of opportunity? There's always a positive with every negative, and you got to look and find it. But in this case, you don't even have to find it. It's just right there. Once you stop paying so much attention to the bull, you'll see the opportunity, the door of opportunity. Another thing, like I said, we're in a different era of time. There are cycles that have closed, and we've transitioned over to a new era. Like we're literally in the beginning of that new era. Okay? So all the old ways are falling apart. The old systems are falling apart. They were always going to fall apart. Like I said, how it fell apart, was it going to be a smooth transition or not? When you have a house on a particular piece of property, on some land, and you don't want that old house anymore, you don't even want to remodel it, you want to get rid of the old house so a new one can be built on the land, you have to take the old house apart. Now, someone can come in with a sledgehammer and with some other things, with some screws and all of that, and they can kind of knock at little things a little bit and okay, we're going to take this and we're going to save that. And so somebody who's emotionally attached to the house, they're like, okay, yes, I want to take this and then I want to do that. Oh, yes, be nice to the house. Now, if you're emotionally, you're sentimental about the house, that's not what's happening. because we didn't choose that path. Again, we chose the rough path. What's happening is there's a bulldozer, couple of them, that came and they're just knocking it all down. They are just stripping everything from the roots up. It's just like, get rid of the house, get rid of the foundation. It's just completely going away so that new thing can come in its place. Yeah, it's rough. We chose that collectively by not respecting each other, by not loving each other. But here we are. So what do you do about it? Look at the door of opportunity. In other words, in this other analogy, there is a positive way of being in the way that we're going to be living in this world. But you have to see that. But most people are like, no, that man this, and this other man that, and he did that, and AI this and that, and all these other things. And the thing is, you guys, is that the ones who come and destroy certain things are not the rebuilders. The bulldozer, the bull, the sledgehammer, all of these destruction tools and the people that represent those destruction tools are not the rebuilders. They're not the ones that's going to come and plant the positive, I'm going to use the word positive, stuff. They're not the ones that are going to create the things that are going to be more pleasurable for us. That is not their job. They are destroyers. They are destructive energy. They represent the destruction energy, okay? Destroy to rebuild. What's important is what comes after the destruction. How is the rebuilding going to happen? You guys, it's so important to understand that there's multiple timelines. Which one are you going to choose? Which one are we going to choose collectively? Because it's not about individual people. What are we going to choose collectively? I will say this, though. Individuals are weathering the storm without any issues. They're not even thinking about certain things. People have been calling me and they're like, are you, and somebody on LinkedIn even said, are you okay? Is everything all right? Group text. Are y'all all right? Everything, and again, I had to think about what they were talking about. Like, yeah, because I'm not caught up in the storm and the mess. I'm not caught up in it because that's not my focus. So when you have organic, natural, out-of-body experiences and you cultivate that, you get back in alignment with that, with your galactic self, you have the ability to go beyond the earthly plane and see things from a bird's eye type point of view. The dog is on the ground barking, 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 but the bird can see right around the corner is something that the dog likes. The dog doesn't see because the dog is on the ground. The bird is up, perched up on the tree and can see that and just shaking his head like, That dog just don't even, come on now. It's coming. It's right there. What are you crying about? With your OBEs, though, you can see that. You can be like the bird and see what's going to happen in multiple realities. You can see the multiple timelines. You can see things. There's something interesting about the 2030s because the tail end of 2024, I've had about 3 or 4 OBEs where I went to the 2030s. It was 2033, and I believe one 2032. But 2 or 3 2032s or 2033s, and then one of them was a 2032 or 20. Anyway, it was about 3 or 4 times I went to the early 2030s, right? And I saw things. I'm not going to get into details, but I'm mentioning it. I'm mentioning this because the thing about having OBEs is you don't have to be going to someone who channels or a psychic or clairvoyant individual to try to find out about this and that. I love those people, though. I find them very interesting. The fact that they can receive the information and all of that, I love that. I really do. And I respect it. My thing, though, is that that's third-party information. I respect the information, but even they don't agree with each other. So how do you know for sure? You take your etheric body over there and see for yourself, or your consciousness can shift in another version of yourself that sees it. All you got to do is rely on your higher self and that alignment that you have with your higher self and trust that you'll be able to go to the future if that's what you want to do. Whatever it is that you want to do, you can do. You put it out there and you don't have to be meditating for hours at a time. All you got to do is speak it. Is it that simple? And the reason why you speak it is because you're telling your ego self and also your physical body, which is mostly water. Water holds memories. To remember, this is what I want to do. Your higher self, you don't have to speak anything. It's telepathic communication. But the point is, your higher self knows. And then you go. But that's not going to be that easy if you're not in alignment with your higher self, which is your galactic self. But what I'm saying to you is, with all the stuff, the chaos that's happening right now, you would know what's coming in the future and the various timelines and what's the potential for certain things when you allow yourself to travel there. But you're not going to be able to travel there in a way where you really see things in a more holistic way if you keep relying on third-party tools in order to get you to activate aspects of yourself. You see what I'm saying? This is why when it comes to, when I say tap into your out-of-body power, you're tapping into the power of your essence. You're tapping into the power of flow. It's intuitive power. You already had an experience, even if it was just one time of sleep paralysis, even if it's just one time where you felt arms moving or legs moving, or you felt yourself raise up, but your body's still laying in the bed and it's like, well, what in the world is this? Even if it was just one time, the thing is, tap into that organic experience so that you can have it more often. Tapping into your essence, aligning with the divine, aligning with your galactic self. Anytime you use anything external, sound frequencies or whatever it is that you use, you got to be careful or conscious enough to understand or know, is that energy that I'm receiving harmonious with my energy? Okay? That's an intuitive knowing. That's the only way you'll know intuitively. But how are you going to know intuitively unless you allow yourself to tap in? But anyway, is it in alignment or in harmony with my energy? And the reason why I say that is because when someone else touches something or they focus on something and they give it to you, not only are you getting the energy from that thing, but you're getting the energy from that individual. Hopefully they're in harmony too, because if they're not, then their chaotic energy is going to come into your channels as well. All right. Also, if you're using electronic devices to do things, let's say you want to meditate and you want to do a guided meditation and you have your AirPods in, the frequency from the AirPods that's connected to all the wireless waves, that in itself is interfering with the meditation. It's low vibrational frequency. So now an aspect of you has to use all your juice, all your fuel, all your power to neutralize that energy so you can get the benefit of the meditation, which is why quiet meditations is going to benefit you more when you tap in, because you don't have to neutralize all of the frequencies of the electromagnetic frequencies that are bombarding you from even listening to what the person is saying. Same thing with the sound frequencies and tones and stuff like that. Do you see what I'm saying? That's why I'm so focused on assisting you and others when it comes to the natural part of it, not relying on the external, okay? Another thing, when you intellectualize all of this, which is what you're doing when you're this information, that information, this, I'm going to try this technique, that technique, all that, when you intellectualize it and just use that mental part of yourself to align, it doesn't work like that. Because when you're in alignment with your galactic self, that's a natural flow. It's not think, do. It's not that. You don't have to think. You flow. So we are in these bodies that are used to using our intellect. When you initially use your intellect for something, no problem. Wonderful. But again, let it be temporary. Let it be like the physical therapist getting you back into alignment, or like a chiropractor. You have some scoliosis, so the curve of your back is like this. It's like this curve, this S, when it's supposed to be a straight up and down. Well, when the chiropractor gets you back into alignment, you don't need them anymore, even though it's good to continuously get some chiropractic adjustments. But they did what needed to be done to straighten up that spine, right? The physical therapist did what needed to be done to get you back to your default state with your muscles and tendons and all these things. So do what you need to do to get back in alignment with your default state, the default energy you came into this reality to emanate, your galactic self. Get back in default with that. That way you don't have to keep using your brain and your mind to keep thinking about this and that and da 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 da. Let me be very clear. When I have out of body experiences, it's not about willfully like, okay, I want to have an OBE tonight. It's not about that. It's about, why do I want to have this OBE, right? Why do I want to have an out of body experience? What do I want to do with it? And I'm saying this specifically for if you want to willfully have an out of body experience. What is the reason? All of that. And you think about it. And then if you're in alignment, your higher self is going to naturally, once you start getting into an altered state of consciousness, which is easy. We all get into that every single night, by the way. In order to go to sleep, you have to go through the half sleep state. You have to go through that state to go to sleep. So that's the state where you're in between awake and sleep. So your higher self is going to naturally allow for you to stay in that state so that you can have your OBE, because you've already put it out there. That's signaling to your higher self that you want to have an out-of-body experience for whatever reason. All right? You already put it out there. It's going to happen. And the same thing when it comes to a lot of things that you want to manifest. I'm not going to get into that's not even my focus. But I'm just saying, again, once you align, other things will align as well. So for me, out-of-body experiences happen so often that I have to stop them from happening, as opposed to it doesn't happen that often. I want to will myself into doing it. It happens so often where it's like, okay, and so why would I stop it? Well, here's the thing. If you are not, with the things that you consume, whether it's through your mouth, through your ears, through your eyes, whatever you're consuming, and even your skin, all right, if it's interfering with organic ways of being, then your body, your etheric body, is going to use the energy from the cosmos to transmute all those energies. And if you're not, so there's times that we are not in perfect alignment, period. How can you be in the third dimension? Unless you're in a cave somewhere, meditating on a hilltop, whatever, and that's all you do all day, that's one thing. But living in this modern world with all the frequencies that we have to deal with, and also the way that, just the way that things are, you have to work on your alignment, okay? But the thing about it is getting back to what I was saying about, for me, stopping it. If I want a slice of pizza or some cake and ice cream or something, yeah, I still eat that stuff. I do. I just don't eat it all the time. And that's another thing. People seem to think that in order for you to have these OBEs or be spiritual, that you have to completely cut out whatever. And the thing is, you came into a third dimensional reality with this physical body to experience. All right? And I have no problem experiencing the pleasures of this world. And food happens to be that. I just know my limits. But if I eat a slice of pizza, some cake and ice cream, or whatever the case may be, I'm not going to allow myself to have an out-of-body experience, because I know when I come back to my body, I'm going to be completely drained of energy. I literally got to the point where the cosmic energy and the flow, the life force that's flowing through my etheric body and assisting my physical body now has to be used to process the pizza, the cake, the ice cream, and all these other things. So when that happens, you don't have as much fuel, as much energy to have your OBE and let it be a pleasant one. You don't. And I'm aware of that. So when I eat a certain way, or I haven't had certain supplements in a minute, or whatever the case may be, I will not allow for the OBE to happen, because I'm not going to put my physical body through that. I'm just not. But in order for me to willfully have something, or have the out-of-body experience activated, I want to have it, it's not, I send out the signal. My higher self knows, and it's going to happen. And also, there are other versions of yourself that's not causing, but When you're in alignment with your galactic self, there's other versions of you and other people and other realities that's calling upon that version of you. And then since you're in alignment, your higher self will be like, okay, come on and go on this trip. And you go on that trip. And it is consistent. It's reliable. All because you're in alignment. So when you work on your organic, natural alignment with your galactic self, your higher self, you will be able to go into realities that, again, are going to assist you in your life, and you don't get caught up in all the stuff that's happening right now. It's not even going to phase you because you're going to see what's next. You're going to see exactly what's next. And you've already seen what happened before. And you're going to see what happens in other realities that's affecting the next. And you'll see how you can always pull energies from your other selves to assist you in whatever storm is going on in this reality. And it's going to get to the point where it's like things just don't phase you. You have compassion for everyone else. I really do feel for people right now. Like I said, it's hit home. It really has, and I feel for people right now. The thing is, I just know that if they were more in alignment with their galactic self, they wouldn't be so upset. I know this. If people who have the OBEs organically, such as yourself, if you continue to just allow for yourself to align instead of trying to pull from here, there, and everywhere and all these things, man, anything that you're going through, you can get through it in such a pleasant way, in such a free-flowing way. So if you want to tap into your out-of-body power organically, and you've been having inconsistent out-of-body experiences, or you're overwhelmed with too much information, or you just want someone to talk to about it all, let's have a conversation. Go to meetwithvernita.com and schedule a complimentary conversation with me for 30 minutes. Let's talk. And let's see if the right next step may be for you the Mystical Ease mentorship experience. I recently created that. Our first masterclass is going to be in, 10 days. In 10 days. And this is going to be an experience where it's a like-minded community, where OBEs are the norm. You know, we're representing normalcy in out-of-body experiences. And I'm going to be within that community. I'm not one of these people who's going to say, okay, I'm going to build a community, then I just dip. No. Every week, there's going to be either a class or Q&A is live. All right? I'm going to answer all your questions, as well as I'm going to have classes, master classes. And I'm going to be within the forum community. You can add me if you want. You can add each other. This is going to be a high-level premium experience. So along with the community, along with the master classes, along with the Q&A sessions, the live Q&A sessions, I'm also going to meet with everyone for 30 minutes privately, one-on-one. So, of course, there's not going to be a whole bunch of people in here. It's going to be the right people in here, people who are aligned, people who want to move from uncertainty to mastery with their OBEs and get to alignment without having to rely on these external things all the time, getting to alignment with your higher self, trusting your higher self to lead and guide you. I'm leading you back to you and your power that's always been there, waiting for you to use it. Are you ready? If so, go to meetwithvernita.com. Let's have a conversation and see if this is the right next step. See you soon.